Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mazal Ansari, and with me is my compatriot Sarah Glob. We are covering this is live coverage of the 2013 National Assembly elections. We are bringing you the latest tabulations of the candidates, the numbers that are coming in from the different constituencies, and also we are discussing in a friendly atmosphere the current situation, the problems, the positives that the state of Kuwait is currently experiencing. And Sarah has a statement to make. Go ahead, Sarah. Let's discuss something that's on your mind.
Well, I mean, various officials, senior officials, both from Kuwait and as well observers, international observers from the region and other countries, have all taken the occasion to speak about either Kuwait's electoral process or democracy in Kuwait, and I mean it is a beacon in the region. And as you've mentioned earlier, quotes from a Jordanian observer that it sets an example for the region, which I think is great words to hear, especially on a day like this, where the country is practicing true democracy.
And this is coming from someone who's coming here of his free will to monitor and to report back to his country what he's seeing, the experience that's going on in Kuwait.
Great feedback, I think, great feedback to be passed on. It's just sends a positive signal, image that everything, hopefully this will be a brighter and more positive parliament that will be elected. Now, and also several ministers have taken the time to tour the polling stations, one of them being the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Interior, Sheikh Ahmed Mahmoud Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, who took the time to visit polling and voting centers in all of the 5 constituencies in order to ensure that the electoral process was running smoothly. And the Ministry of
securely.
Yeah, I mean the Ministry of Interior is in charge of all the security personnel and they've deployed tens of thousands throughout the country.
I've witnessed that firsthand when I went to my constituency to cast my ballot.
Yeah, I mean, there's between 10,500 and 11,000 security personnel that were deployed today.
It was the smoothest vote casting I've ever experienced. And, you know, I mean, let's be honest, I've only cast my vote since 2009. So the past 4 years. Well, there's
been a few.
I believe, yeah, there have been 5. So in the last 5 elections, this was the smoothest, the quickest.
That's
I
great.
couldn't believe it. I was in and out of my car and back in again within less than 7 or 8 minutes.
That's great. I hope everybody out there had a similar experience.
Yeah, I did see some congestion, traffic congestion, and I think it was, and this is for the women's and the women's station, voting station, which was at the Salim Al-Ansariya school in Block 3.
And the special needs, first aid, medical personnel on site. There was also makeshift first aid centers that treated first aid cases, and anybody who needed a referral. The hospitals and the clinics within the constituencies were all told to admit people on that day and receive referrals as well after that. So a coordination between several bodies for this one day has just shown how the whole country can come together.
Yes.
Even for one day, they can do it, you know. So let's hope that they will be able to do it for 4 years, 4 consecutive years.
This is what we are praying for now, which is we need to give the members of our National Assembly the chance to show us, give them the chance to stay on for 4 consecutive years, and only then can we evaluate their performance. They need in order to legislate new laws, legislate ideas, legislate the future of Kuwait, these people need to be given the chance. They need 4 years, 4 consecutive years of continuous performance without disruptions. And this goes also for our the different ministries of Kuwait. We need to have our ministers stay on for the 4 consecutive years to be able to effectively run the ministries that they are leading. You know, the 6 months, the 1 year and 1.5 year of the latest few national assemblies that we had, you cannot really evaluate performance. How can you? It is such a short period of time.
Well, there's no way to measure the development, no way to measure any sort of
in that short period of time. That's true.
From the initial initiative of the phase to the implementation and the execution, this takes years on its own. You know, so I mean, a lot of MPs won the previous parliament race, hoping to pass legislation, which is still in process at the moment.
That's
so
right.
they couldn't even file in the legislation, let alone follow up on it. So yeah, I think it's this time to give them
the 4 years that they deserve.
Yeah. And
we spoke
I
earlier.
love that we're seeing a lot of new faces. This is something that we definitely need in
young
the
faces,
parliament.
new and young.
Yes, definitely.
As we mentioned earlier about the youth, I have a statement here that I'd like to read out, which was made by the Information Minister, Minister of State for Youth Affairs, Sheikh Salman Sabah, when today he termed as important the role of the youth in the 2013 legislative elections. We had talked about whether to reduce the age to 18 or to maintain it at 21. And my opinion is that I wish, I love to give the youth the chance. So my own personal humble opinion, I would love to see the age drop to 18. But again, that's not up to us. You know, that's legislation, that's the government and the National Assembly. But again, our minister, Sheikh Salman, quote, said, the political leadership, which had a great role to establish the Ministry of Youth, is paying a great attention to the youth, end quote. Sheikh Salman told reporters at a ballot center in Sayyid Muhammad Musawi School in Rumaithia area, the 1st constituency. He hoped the ideas and visions of the youth would be adopted, and we at the Ministry of the State of Youth Affairs will offer every possible help to them, he said. Sheikh Salman said he visited a number of electoral committees in different governorates, and he says, I quote, I realized that the turnout was heavy and participation of voters was on the rise. So again, one of our ministers, the Minister of Information, witnessed firsthand that the turnout was better than expected, and he's repeating this. We've heard this from many people around Kuwait.
And primarily His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah. We're going to have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back after that. Stay tuned, and we're here till the early hours of the morning with a 24-hour coverage on Election Day here in the state of Kuwait. Be right back after this short break.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue our live coverage of the National Assembly elections here in the state of Kuwait. We are now looking at the latest results from the 3rd constituency. In 6th place is Safa Al-Hashim with 1,904 votes. In 7th, Muhammad Al-Jabri with 1,521. In 8th place, 1,392 votes is Yaqub Al-Sani. In 9th, Abdul Karim Al-Kandari with 1,357 votes. Nabil Al-Fadl in 10th place with 1,321 votes. In 11th, Osama Al-Tahous with 1,288. Abdullah Al-Ma'yuf in 12th with 1,239. In 13th, Abdul Aziz Al-Samhan with 1,122 votes. And in 14th, Ahmed Lemlefi, he's gained a spot to 1,099 votes. And in 15th, Ali Al-Khamis with 1,084 votes. Again, that was the 3rd constituency. Now moving on to the 4th. In 1st place continues Sultan Al-Shimmari with 2,384 votes. In 2nd, Saud Al-Hreji with 2,078. And third, Saad al-Rashidi with 1,910. Askar al-Anazi in fourth with 1829. Mansour al-Dhafiri with 1827 in fifth. In sixth, Muhammad al-Anazi with 1787. In seventh, Majid al-Mtayri with 1,666 votes. Eighth place goes to Mubarak al-Khrainij with 1481. Ninth, Hussein al-Mtayri with 1465. In 10th, Abdullah al-Adwani with 1,270 votes. In 11th, Muhammad al-Rashidi with 1,188 votes. In 12th, Batil al-Rashidi with 1,150 votes. In 13th, Khalid al-Shlaimi with 1,096. In 14th, Faraz Muhammad al-Dehani with 1,079. And in 15th, Mubarak al-Araf with 1,035. And this wraps up the 4th constituency. Now to the 5th. In first place, Abdullah Ibrahim al-Tamimi with 3,335 votes. Madi al-Hajri with 2,897 in second. In third, Faisal al-Kandari with 2,402. In fourth, Talal al-Sili with 2,333. Muhammad al-Hawela in fifth with 1,847. In sixth, Hamdan al-Azmi with 1,776. In seventh, Saif Mutlaq al-Azmi with 1,479. In seventh. In eighth, Sa'doun al-Atabi with 1,432. In ninth, Mahmoud al-Hamdan with 1,321. Jabir al-Azmi with 1,272 in 10th. And in 11th, Ahmed al-Azmi with 1,240. In 12th, Mutlaq al-Atabi with 1,038 votes. In 13th, Hani Shams with 1,029. Hussein al-Dosari in 14th with 1,008. And in 15th, Yusuf al-Atabi with 975 votes. Again, those results will continue to come, and we will keep updating you live right here on the KTV2 studio, right here in the Ministry of Information in the state of Kuwait. We will take a short break and be right back. Stay tuned. Of Salwa. The road is a little bit tight there. It's a little bit, this is first constituency, yes. So, and the people were breaking the law by parking it in the wrong way. No. It's not the fault of anyone except the people who, I mean, yes, sometimes you'll see the driver, because, you know, the women don't like to. I mean, what can you do? They want to be as close as possible to go in and vote and come out. And fasting as well. They're wearing their abaya and so on. Understandable. Yes, but the drivers are still in the car, but they're still blocking the road. Even if you're in the car, you're still blocking the road. At least just because you're in the car doesn't mean that you're improving the situation. It's still just as bad, and it took me a few minutes just to be able to escape. Yeah, I mean, also the female voters outnumber the male voters. Yes, yes. So I saw a huge turnout there, just driving by. Yeah, it was an amazing turnout, really, in the first constituency. You were saying, "Thank God you're a male," right? Yes. Anyway, it was much quicker. Back to the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Interior, who toured the polling centers today and took the time to speak to reporters while touring the voting stations. And Sheikh Ahmed Mahmoud said Kuwait's higher political leadership was keen on ensuring the successful democratic process that matched the country's historical position, both regionally and internationally. And I'm guessing this was obviously achieved from the comments that were issued by the Jordanian observers and other observers alike. The international observers. Yeah, and the minister also went on to say that the entire world was watching Kuwait and its democratic experiment as a unique model which represents clear-cut proof of the favorable and effective cohesion between both the leadership and the people, and of the people's participation in solidifying both their present and their future.
Finally, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Hamoud then voiced satisfaction with the proceeding of the electoral process as a whole and hailed the heads of the voting center and the staff of the voting centers, as well as his own ministry, the Ministry of Interior's personnel and staff, for providing all the necessary requirements to meet the voters' needs. And they have indeed exerted all efforts this election campaign.
You earlier asked me about my opinion of the one vote system, and as I was answering, we were cut off.
This is the second time Kuwait votes under this
yes.
one vote system.
Yes,
which
you're right.
changed.
But this time I felt like it was a little different from the last. Because
I mean, if we could just explain to our viewers, those maybe who might be watching outside of Kuwait, his decree amending the electoral law of 2006 was changed to amend it to a law number for 2012, which changed the number of votes that each eligible voter can cast from
That's
4
right.
to 1.
Okay. Now we're
This
being
was
cut
done
off,
in
cut off
2012.
again.
Oh, we're back to more great results.
Go ahead, Sarah. We have the first constituency.
In second place, Faisal Al-Duwaysan with 3,628. And third, we have Yusuf Al-Zalzala with 3,519. In fourth, Isa Al-Kandiri with 3,326 votes. In fifth place, Saleh Ashur with 3,222. In sixth, Mubarak Al-Haris with 3,172. And in seventh, Abdullah Al-Taraji with 3,151. In eighth, Kamil Al-Awadi. And in ninth, Muhammad Al-Hadiya with 2,804. And still in 10th place, Masoom Al-Mbarak with 2,347. As for the 11th position, Abdul Hamid Dashti with 2,323. Abdullah Rumi in 12th with 2,259. And Wasmi, Khalid al-Wasmi in 13th with 1,827. In 14th, Nawaf al-Fzea with 1,561. And finally, in 15th place, Khalid al-Shatti with 1,494 votes.
Moving on to the second constituency now. In first place, we have Marzouk Al-Ghanem. He's been in first from the outset.
Beginning.
3,201 votes. Second place, distant second, 2,876. Riyad Al-Adsani. And third, Rakan Al-Nasf, 2,507. In distant fourth, Adil Al-Khrafi with 2,063. In fifth, Ali Al-Rashid with 1,819. Sixth, Hamad Al-Harshani with 1,755. Seventh, Auda Al-Ruwai'i with 1,666. Khalaf Al-Anazi with 1,637. Abdurrahman Al-Jiran with 1,554. In ninth. In 10th, Khalil Saleh with 1,505. And now to the last 5 spots. In 11th, Adnan Mtawwa with 1,459. 12th, Ahmed Lari with 1,317. In 13th, Salman Al-Azmi with 1,059. And 14th, Muhammad Al-Abdel Jadir with 1,011th and 14th. And finally, in 15th, Ahmed Muhammad Al-Hamad with 834 votes.
Moving to the third constituency, in first place, Ali Al-Amir with 3,380. In second place, Khalil Abdullah Ali with 3,059. In third, Faisal Al-Shaya with 2,496. And in fourth place, Rodan Abdulaziz Rodan with 2,056. As in fifth place, Jamal Lamar with 1,929. In sixth, Safa Al-Hashim with 1,920. And in seventh, Muhammad Al-Jabri with 1,547. In eighth position, Ya'qub Al-Sani' with 1,398. And in ninth position, Abdul Karim Al-Kindiri with 1,375. And in the 10th spot comes Nabil Al-Fadl with 1,339. As for the 11th spot is Osama Al-Tahous with 1,306. 12th is Abdullah Al-Ma'youf with 1,253. 13, Abdulaziz Al-Samhan with 1,149. And in 14th place comes Ahmed Al-Mlefi with 1,111. Finally, in 15, Ali Al-Khamis with 1,099.
And now to the 4th constituency. In first place, Sultan Al-Shimmari with 2,699 votes. Saud Al-Hreji with 2,304 is in second. In third, Muhammad Al-Anazi with 2,120 votes. In fourth, Saad Al-Rashidi with 2,110 votes. Askar Al-Anazi in fifth with 2,084. In sixth, Mansour Al-Dhafiri with 2,068. Majid Al-Mtayri has dropped a spot to 1959 in seventh. And in eighth place, Hussein Al-Mtayri with 1698. In ninth, Mubarak Al-Khrenij with 1641. And in 10th, Abdullah Al-Adwani with 1484. And now to the final 5 spots. In 11th, Muhammad Al-Rashidi with 1357. In 12th, Batil Al-Rashidi with 1305. In 13th, Faraz Muhammad Al-Dihani with 1286. In 14th, Khalid Al-Shlemi with 1228. In 15th, Fawaz Al-Mtayri with 1186.
And in the 5th and final constituency, in first place, Abdullah Al-Tamimi, still in first with 3,628 votes. Considerably much higher than last time. In second place, Madi Al-Hajri with 3,142. In third, Faisal Al-Kandari with 2,607. In fourth, Talal Al-Shili with 2,478. In fifth, Hamdan Al-Azmi with 1,980. And in sixth, Muhammad Al-Huwaila with 1,938. In seventh, Saif Al-Azmi with 1,587. And in eighth position comes Sa'doun Al-Utaybi with 1,501 votes. As for the ninth spot, it goes to Hamoud Al-Hamdan with 1,399. And the 10th spot goes to Jabir Al-Azmi with 1,391. As for the last 5 spots, the 11th place goes to Ahmed Al-Azmi with 1,381. 12th comes in Mutlaq Al-Ataybi with 1,146. 13, Hani Al-Shams with 1,109. Hussein Al-Dosari comes in 14th with 1,104. And finally, Hamoud Al-Azmi comes in 15th with 1,022. Those are the latest but not the final results of the 5 different constituencies and the total votes. There
considerable numbers coming in now from the 5th constituency.
We can kind of see that there's not going to be,
big changes.
Much of a change between those.
Well, don't underestimate the 5th constituency.
The fifth and the fourth are a bit delayed.
Yes.
But the third seems to be consistent. For the past few rounds.
I wanted to say something, but I kind of, well, maybe I should say it. I mean, I can almost guarantee that Safa Al-Hashim will make it in. Maybe the only woman to make it in.
Feeling. We had Farid earlier asked me what was my expectation on the women. I initially said 2, but then I felt bad and I added one more. I gave them 3. But I mean, 2 out of 8.
You're trying to be optimistic.
Is even worse than 8 out of 311. Or what do you think?
Yes, I agree with you, Sarah. Anyway, we're going to take a short break and we will be right back for more live coverage of the 2013 National Assembly elections. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our live coverage of the 2013 National Assembly elections. We are awaiting for new figures, new tabulations to come in from the different constituencies. And in the meantime, we've been talking about some of the issues that are on the minds of the Kuwaiti citizens, some of the issues that we would like to see implemented in the next National Assembly. I think one of the most important issues is the issue of education, and you know, honestly, this is one of the most, if not the most important issue, because education comprises everything, comprises the future, what we teach our children, how to run their future, how to prioritize issues. Education is everything. It's life.
It's the most effective form of investment, I think.
Absolutely.
That brings the most lucrative rewards. Nothing that money can compensate.
I mean, everything goes back to education. What we are now is how our parents educated us at home, how the school educated us in school, how the college, the university, our teachers, what they taught us. And
I want to build on from what you've said, because there was a point you mentioned earlier when you were saying, you were talking about, you were explaining to the viewers from your own personal experience today, casting your ballot and what happened. And you took your children with you. Your son, this is the second time he's gone to a polling station, whereas your daughter, who's aged 9, this is her first time, along with her cousin. You said you wished your parents would have taken the same initiative when you were younger.
Yes, I did.
To educate you. And this is, I think, a very important point, because we can say that education is the main player in educating the children, but we are neglecting the parents. The parents also have to set a good example. What you did, I think, is beautiful. You know, to take your children with you.
I just wish they allowed me to take them in to where I cast my vote, but you know,
well,
I can understand.
Maybe this is a good thing, because once they cross that barrier and they're old enough to do so, they will appreciate it.
Yes, I was trying to convince the police there. I said,
well,
you
maybe
guys,
this is a gift.
This is our National Assembly elections, you guys. I brought my children to teach them, to let them know what is going on in our country.
Yeah.
How important it is to cast a vote.
Yeah.
I wish my parents had taught me.
Yeah.
I mean, I graduated from college in 1985. I came back to work in Kuwait in 1985. The first time I cast my vote was in 2008. I wasted all these years.
Yeah.
Which brings us to another subject. Why is it that we only have the month of February to register? Kuwaiti nationals who have not registered to vote, there is only 1 month during the year where you can register. This limits. I mean, what if that person is traveling during that month? He's not in Kuwait. I mean, I can understand it's a long period of time. It's February is what, 28 days. Why didn't they choose, like, for example, March?
But February is also the busiest
month,
you know?
Why can't it be all year long?
Yeah, but
what's the
February
limitation?
is also,
I don't understand.
There's national holidays. There's a lot of things going on in February that limit the actual functional days that do actually exist in the month.
Well, this even strengthens my point. Why is this limitation?
As well, I know several people, they're not registered yet, and they have no idea how to register. Where to register, they don't know.
They have to go to
why are they not being educated?
The government office in each of the governorates.
Yeah.
That's where you register I belong to Salwa. I had to go. I can't remember the name, the English name of the branch where I had to go. But listen, if there is a will, there is a way. If you want to register, you'll find the place. Believe me.
Definitely.
It's a responsibility. It's your duty to vote.
But it should be clearly, this should be something that every Kuwaiti knows.
But I don't think there should not be a 1 month period.
Definitely, yeah.
It should be all year long. It should be open.
It should be open.
I keep having to remind my brothers to register, to go. One of them is not registered. He's 50 years old now.
Oh, dear.
He's not yet registered. 52.
Oh,
I'm not going to mention his name, but he needs to register to vote. My sister registered. Well, this election, she's not in Kuwait.
Since the last election, it's only been 8 months. So those who didn't predict that there would be an election within the 6-month time frame, there was, and they
really,
did not
I mean, I
register.
think the Ministry of Interior should really, truly look into this
I
limitation.
think, yes, I think so.
We should not have a 1-month limitation during which a citizen can register. It should be open. It's our right.
Yeah.
It's our duty to vote. If you limit registration to 1 month, many people are missing from, you know, what is the percentage of eligible voters compared to
currently, it is 4,000.
400,000 or something?
Yeah,
400,000,
400,000 and
which is about what? About 60%?
39,715.
Okay, percentage-wise from the total population, it's about
Well, the population
from the eligible voters. We have to look at that number.
It's about half. It's about half of the total population. I'm not exactly sure on the exact percentage of.
Well,
of
we
the
have to
total
consider
population.
also the people, the voters or the citizens who are under the age limit, which is 21. But anyway,
Well, I mean, there are
what
a
I'm
few
saying,
exceptions
my
as well. There's
point-
also the armed forces and,
right,
and,
right.
and the police.
My
and things.
point is, Sarah, again, I will repeat, this limitation of 1 month, it doesn't make any sense to me. I think that the registration should be like in the rest of the world,
Yeah.
open all year long. There should not be a 1-month limitation during which people can register to vote.
I
It
completely
should
agree with
be
you.
wide open any time of the year. Anytime you go
Yeah,
and
I
you
think
register.
that's fair. I think that's only a requirement that should
Anyway,
be an
so I think
implemented. But I mean, in saying that, the number of eligible voters or franchise nationals in the 5 constituencies since December, the December 2012 elections, has increased by 17,500.
Individuals. Who were able to register there during the month of February.
Were able to register during the month of February, exactly.
If it was open, we'd probably get more.
And
more
that's
numbers.
almost 10,000 males and almost 8,000 females.
Right.
Which
Yes,
is
I
a large
read that,
number
I read
to
that
register
statistic.
in 1 month.
Now the second issue is, the
17,000,
other
that's
issue
good.
is the single vote system, which we also discussed a little
Yes,
bit.
the single vote system.
you
But
know.
you mentioned earlier that this was the smoothest electoral.
Yes, when I went to cast
balloting,
my ballot,
yeah, that you've
usually
ever
when you
encountered.
go to cast your ballot in the previous elections, you get these young volunteers who belong to certain candidates. I'm not sure if they're paid or they're volunteers, but they go out. They're young, usually sometimes 10 up to 15 years old. They have brochures. They have pamphlets, advertisements for that particular individual. Please vote for him, please vote for him. And they distribute these pamphlets in a last-minute appeal. Those I did not see today. But if I remember correctly, I saw them in the last election, which was also single vote. But now I think they realized that the single vote system, the single vote scheme, most citizens go to the polling station with their candidate in mind. They're not going to change their mind at the last minute. There is no way. So that is why I think I did not see those the volunteers. I think that's why, because I went, I had somebody in mind, and no matter who, you know, if I had 4 votes, maybe.
Maybe you could be swayed on
If
one
I had
of
4
them.
votes.
Yeah, sure.
But I do not like the 4-vote system for a very simple and basic reason, which is that the 4-vote system, I think, helps the sway votes towards tribal and sectarial voting, as well as religious affiliation voting. That is why I am so, actually many academics around Kuwait truly believe in the one person, one vote system. And I hope that time will prove, I hope that time will prove all these academics and the government and the leadership of Kuwait have hit it right this time. The one vote system is the way to go.
I mean, I think so. The rest of the world seems to think so with their similar systems,
Yes.
and Kuwait's constitutional court definitely agrees with it. They've kept the one votes amendment intact. They haven't nullified it. So obviously Kuwait's constitutional
That's
court
right.
has recognized
accepted
it
it,
and accepted it. It's just, I think, people, once they're used to a certain way and then things change, it's a bit difficult to, yeah, definitely. I mean, the same thing happened when they changed it from 25 constituencies to 5 constituencies. We had similar issues, you know, people were they did not understand why this change happened, but now everybody's living with the 5 constituencies as if they've been living with it their whole lives.
Right.
You know, so it'll take a few, it'll take a few elections
in our young democracy,
and hopefully they will start to get used to it. I think
they hit it right on the spot this time. It is the right thing to do.
I think so.
And I'm so glad it happened. You know.
Going back to those volunteers that you mentioned earlier, what were your feelings on those? That people would, like candidates, took the time to.
It's a free Kuwait. That's fine.
Freedom. Were you happy this year that you didn't see them, or did you miss them somewhat?
Honestly, I didn't mind them because, you know, they have a candidate that they'd like to advertise, that they'd like to push to see win. And Kuwait is free on that. You are free to express your opinion.
Yes.
And I saw no harm other than they're wasting paper. That's the only thing
That's a big harm, though. That's a very big harm.
Because, you know, I personally, I'm very adamant in my opinion. Once I set my mind, nobody's going to sway my mind. Not at the last minute like that. I mean, when we have the 4 votes, I don't waste my votes.
Yeah.
I will not waste my votes. If I only like 1 or 2 candidates, I'll vote for only 1 or 2. But that's not how people, well, most of Kuwaitis, that's not how they, you know, when you have this tribal affiliation, you will vote for your tribe. You'll give 4 votes to 4 different people of your own tribe.
Yeah.
This is massive.
Exactly, yeah.
The difference is massive.
Yeah, it is huge.
We have no chance. The people, you know, for me, for instance, and I want to vote for somebody who I see as moderate, who I see as open-minded. He has no chance because
definitely.
He's overwhelmed by the 4-vote system.
Compared to like a whole tribe, you know,
that's right.
It's not fair. It's not a fair way of electing people, I think.
So, I think we will see if we allow the next assembly to run for its own full 4-year term. I do believe, I'd like to be optimistic and say we will see some very good things coming up from our new National Assembly and new government.
What I would like to see is representation from all aspects of the society, all sitting under one roof and working together. This is, I think, for me, the perfect political system, when every different community has their own representative to speak for them. I think this will solve a lot of problems.
That's right.
But this is obviously an idealistic world, and even the most advanced governments find it difficult to do that. But I think one day we can get there, and this is all in the spirit of national unity, which is something Kuwait and its citizens hold very dear to their hearts.
Good, Sarah. You're being optimistic as well.
I mean, you have to be.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about the 2/3 of the people living in Kuwait who are the expat population. Let's talk a little bit more about them.
And I would also like to discuss some voter issues. There's an interesting study that was done by Kuwait University.
We'll do that.
But we'll discuss that after this short break. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the 2013 National Assembly elections. Some new figures are coming in. We're now in the 3rd constituency. Go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, in 3rd place, Faisal Al-Shaya with 2,565. In 4th place, Rodan Al-Rodan with 2,114. In 5th place comes Jamal Al-Amar with 1,965. And trailing behind him with
just a few votes.
Safa Al-Hashim in 6th with 1,958.
Then distant 7th
Then
is
a distant 7, Muhammad Al-Jabri with 1,668. And then 8th, Yaqub Al-Sana with 1,431. In 9th place comes Abdul Karim Al-Kindiri with 1,388. And in the 10th spot is Nabil Al-Fadl with 1,364 total votes counted so far. As for the 11th spot, Osama Tahous comes in with 1,339 votes. Abdullah Al-Ma'youf comes in 12 with 1,266. Ali Abdullah Al-Khamis, 13th place with 1,177. Abdul Aziz Muhammad Al-Samhan with 1,158 votes, putting him at 14. And in 15th place, Faris Al-Ataibi with 1,147.
moving on to the 4th constituency now. The results are in. Preliminary results again. Sultan Al-Shimmari with 2,796 votes in first. In second, Saud Al-Hreji with 2,367 votes. Sa'd Al-Rashidi in third with 2,327. In fourth, Muhammad Al-Anazi with 2,164 votes. In fifth, Mansour Al-Dhafiri with 2,160 votes. Askar Al-Anazi in sixth with 2,154, very close.
All of them.
In seventh, Majid Al-Mtairi with a distant seventh,
This one, yeah.
2,088 votes. And in eighth place, we have Hussein Al-Mtairi with 1,822 votes. In ninth, Mbarak Al-Khrainij with 1,794 votes. In 10th, Abdullah Al-Adwani with 1,562 votes. In 11th, Muhammad Al-Rashidi with 1,428. 12th, Batar Al-Rashidi with 1,401.
In 13th spot, after that comes Faraz Al-Dehani with 1,371. And in 14th place comes Khalid Al-Shlimi with 1,273. Finally, in 15th comes Mafuz Al-Mtiri with 1,248. As for the 5th constituency, in first place, Abdullah Tamimi with 3,904, leading the group in the 5th constituency. In second place comes Madi Al-Hajri with 3,358. In third place comes Faisal Al-Kandiri with 2,778. And in fourth place comes Talal Al-Sihili with 2,661. In fifth place, Hamdan Al-Azmi with 2,181. And with 2,024 votes comes Muhammad Al-Huwaila in sixth place. And following in seventh, Saif Al-Azmi with 1,704. As for the 8th position, with 1,636 comes Hamoud Al-Hamdan. And Sa'doun Al-Utaibi comes in 9th with 1,624. Making it to the 10th spot in the 5th constituency, Ahmad Al-Azmi with 1,549 votes. And then in 11 comes Jabir Al-Azmi with 1,471. In 12th, Mutlaq Al-Utaibi with 1,218. In 13th spot comes in Hani Shams with 1,182. And then Hussein Al-Dosari comes in 14th with 1,160. Finally making it into the 15th spot is Yusuf Al-Utaibi with 1,085 votes. These are not final yet, as we've mentioned earlier.
We won't get any final figures for quite a while yet.
Not for a while, but we are going to take a quick break and we will be back right after that. Stay tuned.
Sarah, with the first constituency,
The first one,
please.
Adnan
Abdul
Samad with over 4,000. And then in second place, Faisal Al-Duwaisan with 3,600. In third place, Yusuf Al-Zalzala with 3,519. In fourth place, Isa Al-Kindiri with 3,326. And this is the first constituency. In fifth place comes Saleh Ashur with 3,222. And as for sixth place, Mubarak Al-Haris with 3,172. And in seventh place, 3,151. As for the eighth position, it goes to Kamel Al-Awadi with 3,089. In ninth position comes Muhammad Al-Hadiya with 2,804 votes. And still in 10th position, Masooma Al-Mubarak with 2,347.
She's about 120 votes ahead of 11th.
In 11th place comes Abdul Hamid Al-Dashti with 2323. In 12 comes Abdullah Rumi with 2,259. In 13 comes Wasmi Al-Wasmi with 1,827. And in the 14th spot comes Nawaf Al-Fzea with 1,561. As for the final and 15th spot is Khalid Al-Shatti with 1,494 total votes counted so far for the first constituency. And the second constituency?
Moving on to the second, we have Marzouk Al-Ghanem solidly in first place with 3,201 votes.
Still solidly in first place.
In second place, Riyadh Al-Adsani with 2,876. In third, Rakan al-Nasf with 2,507. In fourth, it's Adil al-Khrafi with 2,063. In fifth, we have Ali Fahd al-Rashid with 1,819 votes. In sixth position, we have Hamad al-Harshani with 1,755. In seventh, Oud al-Ruwai'i with 1,666 votes. In eighth position, Khalaf Dmeithir Al-Anazi with 1,637 votes. In ninth position, Abdurrahman Al-Jiran with 1,554 votes. In 10th, Khalil Al-Saleh with 1,505 votes. And now the last five on standby, Adnan Ibrahim Lamtawa with 1,459. In 12th, Ahmed Lari with 1,317 votes. Salman Khalid Al-Azmi in 13th with 1,059. Muhammad Al-Abdel Jadir in 14th with 1,011. And finally, Ahmed Al-Hamad in 15th with 834 votes.
And the third constituency in first place comes Ali Al-Amer with 3,454 votes. Trailing in second at 3,192 votes is Khalil Ali. In third, Faisal Al-Shaya with 2,565 votes. And then in fourth place, Rodan Abdelaziz Rodan with 2,114 votes. In fifth place, Jamal Al-Amar with 1,965 votes. And in sixth, Safa Al-Hashim with 1,958, both of them very close together. As for the seventh position, goes to Muhammad Al-Jabri with 1,668 votes. In eighth place comes Ya'qub Al-Sani' with 1,431. And then in ninth place, Abdul Karim Al-Kindiri with 1,388. And making it into the third constituency in 10th place is Nabil Al-Fadl with 1,384. In 11th spot, Osama Tahous with 1,339. And then the 12th spot goes to Abdullah Al-Ma'youf with 1,266 total votes counted so far. After him comes Ali Al-Khamis with 1,177 votes in the 13th spot. And then Abdelaziz Al-Samhan with 1,158 in 14th. And in 15th and final spot in the third constituency is Faris Al-Ataibi with 1,147.
Moving on to the fourth constituency, we have continuing in first place Sultan Al-Shimmari with 2,802 votes, followed by Saad Ali Al-Rashidi with 2,373 votes. In third spot, Saud Al-Hreji with 2,369 votes. In fourth, Muhammad Al-Anizi with 2,175 votes. In fifth, Askar Al-Anizi.
Just 3 votes less.
2,172. Mansour Al-Dhafiri in sixth with 2,168. Seventh, Majid Al-Mtairi with 2,120. In eighth, Hussein Al-Mtairi with 1,838. Mubarak Al-Khrainij in ninth with 1,820 votes. And in 10th, Abdullah Al-Adwani with 1,578. And now to the final 5 spots. Muhammad Nasser Al-Rashidi in 11th with 1,449. Batil Al-Rashidi in 12th with 1,438. In 13th, Faraz Muhammad Al-Dihani with 1,394. In 14th, Khalid Al-Shlemi with 1,275. And finally, Fawaz Al-Azmi with 1,271.
And in the final constituency, which is the 5th constituency, in first place, Abdullah Tamimi with 4,130. In second place, Madi Al-Hajri with 3,391. In third place, Faisal Al-Kendiri with 2,834 votes. And in fourth place, Talal Al-Sili with 2,676 votes. In fifth comes Hamdan Al-Azmi with 2,240 votes. And then sixth place, Muhammad Al-Huwaila with 2,155. After him comes Saif Al-Azmi in seventh with 1,731. And then in eighth, Hamoud Al-Hamdan with 1,678. In ninth place, Sa'doun Al-Utaybi with 1,636 votes. And then making it the 10th spot is Ahmad Al-Azmi with 1,593. Then the last 5 are in 11th, Jabir Al-Azmi with 311. And then 12th is Mutlaq Al-Ataybi with 1,234. In 13th, Hani Shams with 1,219. In 14th spot, Hussein Al-Dosari with 1,169. And then finally in the 15th spot, Hamoud Al-Azmi with 1,109. And those were the latest figures released by the subcommittees in the 5 electoral districts. Final results are not expected until another
early hours of this morning.
Yeah, few hours. But I mean, we're starting to get a
better
picture
picture
of some of the candidates that might shape.
We might have 2 women. We might have 2 women in the next assembly.
Better than no women.
Masouma Al-Mbarak and Safa Al-Hashim. We will take a short break and we will continue our live coverage of the 2013 National Assembly elections right here in the state of Kuwait. Please stay tuned.
Good morning, wherever you may be watching us, and welcome to this very special program that is dedicated to Kuwait's National Assembly elections 2013. And we will be here with you till the early hours of the morning until the final results have been announced by the 5 electoral districts here in Kuwait. And we've been discussing several issues, and we will keep bringing you all the latest figures and the tallies as they are released from the subcommittees in the 5 electoral districts. But in the meantime, while we wait for results, we've been discussing various issues.
Some informative, interesting
yes, actually,
statements, subjects that you'd like to discuss.
We were talking about some of the issues that are important to voters, especially this election campaign.
We mentioned education.
Both voters and candidates also.
Right.
You mentioned education being the top issue,
in my opinion.
In your opinion. And I think you might find this interesting then, because a study prior to the elections was conducted by Kuwait University, and specifically a media professor at Kuwait University. His name is Dr. Yusuf Al-Faylakawi. The study...
I think we had him live on one of our programs. But anyway, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure we have. The study tackled the priority of the issues that are usually most of the voters are concerned with. Now, the list of priorities
yes.
included 16 issues. The total number of applicants that were used in the study were almost 2,400 voters, eligible voters, from different educational backgrounds and aged between 18 and 50. So, I mean, they represent pretty much all aspects of the society. Now, ethical judgment, the application of the rule of law, and housing topped these 16 priorities.
Ethical judgment?
Ethical judgment.
Housing?
The application of the rule of law, so enacting the rule of law, and finally housing were the top 3 on the list of 16.
I can see the
whereas education and traffic came 4th and 5th place. So I mean, it's still among the top 5 priorities, but it's definitely not the first.
The application of the rule of law, this was one of the important statements that the TV keeps repeating, that was said by His Highness the Emir.
Yes.
That the rule of law will be implemented.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's obviously
will be enforced.
He's obviously addressing this issue as it is a common concern among the voters, as this study demonstrates. The other thing I found quite interesting was that the study revealed that tackling crime and foreign policy were the last of the bottom of the list of the 16
well, yes, in relative
priorities.
terms, really, the crime rate in Kuwait is relatively low as compared to other parts of the world.
That's true, yes.
And what was the last one you said?
Foreign policy.
Foreign policy.
Which I think is one
that's sad. Should be
it
a
is
priority.
because, especially since the government takes a huge initiative in helping other countries. Kuwait Fund for Arab and Economic Development is one of the biggest donors in the world to underdeveloped countries, developing countries. And then if you consider the case in Syria, where His Highness the Emir personally announced a donation of 500 million US dollars during the International Humanitarian Pledging Conference that was held here in the state of Kuwait in January. In January. So this should be, this is something that Kuwaitis should take pride in. The fact that their country is so helpful, aiding and giving towards other nations.
Foreign policy is
a very
amazing.
important issue, so I mean, this is the issues that are, the range of the issues that are, that take priority among the Kuwaiti voters.
The citizens.
Yeah, I mean, and then the issues that are heavily reported on by local media, such as loans, the ever-growing commodity prices, these were also on the top of the list. This is obviously a common concern among the Kuwaiti citizens. Loans is a big one. I always hear Kuwaitis talking.
Well, it's one of the main issues that affect people's lives.
I mean, a loan is a big deal, you know. So that's you're in debt, you know. Anyway, and commodity prices, that's another one, because the rise in inflation and all these things also affect people, considering their salary stays the same, you know. And then traffic problem was also, as we mentioned, one of them, which I think is a huge issue here in Kuwait, considering the number of accidents that lead to deaths, the number of traffic violations that occur.
By the way, your traffic report, which you did a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yes,
and
yes,
that we aired it twice, once in the news and once on our weekly program, The Week in 30 Minutes, and which was widely viewed on YouTube. I would like to just commend you on this report. You did a fantastic job, and it really shows that Kuwait as a nation is very much looking after this problem that affects all of us.
Yeah,
Kuwaiti citizens and expats and everybody visiting Kuwait.
I mean, traffic is a daily part of our lives.
And it's getting worse.
It's getting worse, especially because the roads, Kuwait is expanding population-wise, occupancy-wise.
And with higher pay, more people are able to buy cars, afford to buy cars.
How many cars per household people own?
No, this is absolutely one of the serious problems that are going to affect, because traffic means more time on the road. More time on the road means less time to work and to be productive.
Exactly, yeah, you're wasting time.
In the end, it's costing the nation money.
I mean, this is something that I think only the government can tackle in fixing the congestion problem. But I mean, everybody has a part to play, obviously, within a community and a society. But I mean, other countries have enforced several laws
That's right,
to
yes.
reduce the traffic that are working like wonderfully, very effective. People use carpooling. This is a big thing.
Well, look at the
so
experiences in some of the neighboring countries. Look at what Dubai did. They have their metro system, which, by the way, I tried and used. It's amazing.
Actually,
it saves you time from taking a taxi, plus the money.
It is, and it's better for the environment.
It does get a little bit, absolutely. It does get a little bit congested, but
I'm a real environmentalist, and I always try to look
for ways
the benefits to the environment.
Less emissions, less fuel emissions, hydrocarbons.
We have to breathe in this air. We have to live in it.
All those poisonous gases.
Exactly. But I mean, there was a youth guidance and counseling forum a couple of weeks ago here in Kuwait. And during the forum, we're back to some more results.
The vote counting, yes.
As they come in
fourth
from the fourth constituency, we're going to start this time. Do you want to go?
Go ahead.
Sultan Ashimri with 2,818 in first place. Then in second place, Saad al-Rashidi with 2,424. After him comes Saud al-Hreji with 2,373 in third place. And then Muhammad al-Anizi with 2,209 votes in fourth. The fifth spot goes to Askar al-Anizi with 2,202 votes. And then in sixth place comes Mansour al-Dhafiri with 2,177. In seventh place, Majid al-Mtiri with 2,131 votes. And then in eighth place, Hussein al-Mtiri with 1,838 votes. As for the ninth spot in the fourth constituency, it goes to Mubarak al-Khrenij, who received 1,829 votes. And then the 10th spot goes to Abdullah al-Adwani with 1,584. The last five in this district go 11th, Muhammad al-Rashidi with 1,461. Batil al-Rashidi with 1,443 in 12th. And then comes Farz al-Dayhani with 1,408 in 13th place. Then in 14th comes Khalid al-Shlemi with 1,283 votes. And then in 15th place comes Fawaz al-Azmi with 1,280. I'm guessing the fourth constituency had some updates.
Now to the fifth constituency, I don't know what happened to the first, second, and third.
They were delayed to bring out the initial results.
Anyway, in first place and the fifth is Abdullah al-Tamimi with 4,035 votes. In second place, Madi al-Hajri with 3,531. And third, Faisal al-Kandari with 2,840 votes. And fourth, Talal al-Sahli with 2,690 votes. In fifth place, Hamdan Salam al-Azmi with 2,250 votes. In sixth place, Muhammad al-Hawela with 2,063. In seventh, Saif al-Azmi with 1,781 votes. In eighth, Mahmoud al-Hamdan with 1,697. In ninth, Sa'adoun Hamad al-Ataybi with 1,644. And in 10th spot with a winning ticket is Ahmed Abdullah al-Azmi with 1,599. And now to the final 5 spots. Jabir, then Mutlaq al-Ataybi with 1,323. In 13th, Hussein al-Dosri with 1,224 votes. In 14th, Hani Shams with 1,221. And finally, in 15th spot, Hamoud al-Azmi with 1,111 votes. You know, one thing I noticed, Sarah, from the all the candidates that we've seen, there was only one person. Sometimes you notice certain things, certain images stick to your mind, but I only noticed Safa Al-Hashim wearing a Kuwaiti flag. The other thing is the Arabic channel doesn't have a Kuwaiti flag, and we have two of them right here.
One for you,
this
one for me.
This is the flag we're all proud of, and we like to see.
It is an essential part of
absolutely
the decoration and the ambience here in these studios at the Ministry of
Where
Information.
is your flag, Arabic channel?
And we refuse to go on air unless we have a flag in the...
No, I'm the president of the Kuwait Golf Committee, as you know.
Yes,
I'm very much into the sport of golf, and I love to see the Kuwaiti flag fluttering in the air wherever we go in the Arab world, or when it's the Pan-Arab tournament or the GCC tournament.
Yes, definitely.
So far, we've never been close to the first 3 spots. We've come close, but never close enough.
We've moved from politics to sports now.
Yes, absolutely. The point is that this is our pride and joy, and this is what we'd like to see, especially at this time, at this very delicate and special time of Kuwait's National Assembly elections. We need to see this all over the place.
We definitely.
Okay, we have a report that we'd like you all to see. Please stay tuned, and this report is coming up right away. Welcome back to our live coverage of the National Assembly elections 2013. I am now joined by my friend and colleague, the head of the English news announcers here in the Ministry of Information, Mr. Ahmed Makki. Ahmed, you come and join us at the most difficult hours. Yes. I know you have the most difficult shift, but I appreciate all the efforts that you are making as well.
Thank you, Martin.
And welcome on board. How was your voting day? Give us a recap.
It was very busy. First of all, I would like to thank you and thank all my colleagues for doing this live coverage for the National Assembly 2013 elections. It's been a very busy day. A lot of people, their expectations of this election, they were thinking that turnout is going to be low. But in the contrary, the turnout so far, it's high. The initial reports indicates it's about 52% so far, compared to the last election where it was around 40%. So
much higher.
Yeah, it's much higher than the last time. So we're going to have
I'd like to hear your experience. What did you do? When did you go? Did you cast your vote this morning?
I did.
When?
I cast my vote close to breakfast.
Late.
Yes.
Your which constituency?
Around 6:30. And first constituency.
Selwa with me, yeah.
Well, yeah, in the first constituency, but I was in Salmiya and Anjifa school. And there weren't long queues or anything. It was very smooth, the casting process. Right now,
we're
going to go to KTV1. We're going to join them.
Actually, we're looking, if you look at the left monitor, the third constituency, I can't quite hear what the judge is saying, but I believe this is one of the judges.
Okay.
We're waiting for the sound to come in.
I think they're about to announce the results.
Final results.
Final results for the third constituency.
Third constituency. Okay, that's good. Still, we can't hear anything. In the meantime, until we get the audio. So tell me, yes, you went around
breakfast. First, I would like to commend all the different agencies, the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Justice, for facilitating, the election
process
and casting votes process. It was very easy. They're very cooperative.
Yes.
And the Ministry of Information has been doing a great job in covering this election,
absolutely,
and giving the viewers
We've had enough time
a very
to
good
practice.
idea about about the elections and the results so far. So in the third constituency, as we are waiting to hear the final results, there have been some surprises. There's some new names emerged in the third constituency. And
some young candidates?
Some young candidates competing, and new names coming out. We're going to hear the final results. As you were covering earlier, some of the initial results coming out. Some new
Unfortunately,
names
the
were-
audio is not quite, we still don't have the audio, so we cannot translate what is being said.
Okay.
Yes, please, to our producer, if you can pass on the audio to us, at least we can relay what we are hearing to our audience. From how long did it take you to cast your vote? Was it crowded during
No,
the
actually it wasn't, and I chose that time for a reason, so it won't be crowded. And so I was in and out in less than 7 minutes.
same
Yeah,
as me.
So it was
Except I went at 11 in the morning.
11 in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
I took my kids with me.
Very
by the
good.
way,
Yeah,
yes.
I heard
But
you
they
earlier
did-
mentioning
yes.
that you took
They
your
didn't let
kids
them
for
in.
that.
They said they
No.
had to stay out near
It's
the door.
a
the
good
entrance.
educational
Yes,
thing
it
for
is.
them.
It's
This way
yes.
they'll learn,
Absolutely.
and they are going to be the generation
The new,
in
the
future,
future generation
the
of
future
Kuwait.
generation who's going to be hopefully participating more and more, in this in these kind of elections.
In this democracy.
Yes. I think the third. Now we're
This
going
is the
to
fifth constituency now that you're watching.
and this is one of the largest
right.
constituencies here in Kuwait.
We had Salam
And-
Al-Ajmi give us a live feed from there, and if I remember well, he was talking about how the turnout was relatively low in the morning.
Yes.
It was okay, but then it kind of increased as in the
Yes.
later hours,
So,
especially towards closing.
yeah, compared to the last time, turnout is higher than the other constituencies in the fifth. And the last one was around 30%, and this time it's around 42. And so you got almost 20 percentage points and stuff. So people are going and casting their votes. Now, they're not boycotting this election, like it
Even
was
though
the
there are
last
quite
time.
a few people who boycotted, yet the turnout is, it's interesting to mention that.
Yes,
Even
turnout
though
in
there
the-
is a
in the
boycott,
fifth-
there is a high turnout.
Yes, and the fifth and the fourth constituencies, there is more participation than the last one.
Yes.
So I think we're going to see some good results in this, and there will be good participation from the people. They're not boycotting this
With
like
Sarah,
the
we
last
were
time.
mentioning, we were talking about some of the priorities for citizens. What are their priorities when they vote for a candidate? What is the subject that they look for, or they want their candidate to tackle when he becomes? What is one of your personal
My personal
concerns?
view, I learned from a lot of people, their main priority is education, health, like you mentioned earlier.
Education and
about,
health were in fourth place, by the way.
Yes, but like you mentioned earlier, the services, for the citizens. You and Sarah were talking about the traffic
Yes,
that's been
congestion.
happening here, and a lot of people are disappointed. They were hoping for quick solutions to the traffic here, but because of the expansion and the construction of the new roads, this takes time.
Yes.
So people need to wait for about a year or two so they can see some concrete results or some easing in the traffic, especially in the rush hours. So, but a lot of the citizens, they are looking at the candidates and their agendas and trying to see which of the candidates can represent them in a good way. Because a lot of the candidates, they have in their agenda similar priorities, similar areas they are talking about and so on. But when you attend their seminars and listen to the solutions and different issues they are putting on the table, this gives you an idea if this candidate can be the right one for you, that can represent your constituency and helping in this progress and trying to lay out solutions and not just saying words or just declaring issues. and so on.
Ahmed, with the one vote system, also I feel that the candidates are. I feel that they're being more honest with their in following their promises. They're being more honest in tackling the issues that they lay out to the public. I think there is more honesty. There is more sincerity And do you see that with the one vote system? What benefits do you see in the one vote system?
One vote system is kind of hard for the candidates because the one vote system globally, it's most countries they do a one vote system.
That's right.
In Kuwait, we had different systems in the past, but this is the second time we're doing the one vote system. And I think it makes it harder on the candidates and also on the people, to choose the right candidate. Sometimes you see two candidates, you think, they can be the best, but it's kind of hard to choose between the two. So in a way, I think there is a lot of positive side for that, but at the same time, it makes it hard to choose which candidate you want to go for or you want to vote for.
You mean it's harder for a candidate to win?
It's harder for the candidates because they have to fight harder.
That's right.
To win the people's
That's
vote.
exactly, that brings us to the same, to the point which I was saying, which means, when I said that the candidate has to be more sincere.
More sincere,
to the citizen.
And to convince the voters, that he has the right solutions to
that's a very big positive.
The main issues.
That's a very big positive.
It is.
Because before, with the 4-vote system, I mean, people were winning whether,
with the
whether they were sincere or unsincere.
They can be allied or they can be in one group altogether, so they kind of help each other.
And I'm very glad that the government also has been very strictly following the rule breakers or the people who are buying and selling votes. The government was very sincere about following those and stopping them in their tracks.
Yes, they're being very serious in implementing this and trying to catch the candidates who are trying to buy people's votes and so on. But still, the majority of the people are looking at this election as a hope for the future. Where we can
optimism
with a great optimism. They're hoping to choose the right candidates who can represent them in the coming National Assembly, and those candidates can solve some of the main issues for the regular citizens, of Kuwait. Like I said, the services and other priorities, health, education, what have you. So I think the results of this election, I think that they're going to be a quite surprise for some people.
I just, for people who break the law and have been caught red-handed in buying votes, I think that these people should not be allowed to
these people should be banned
they should be kicked out from having to run the pride of Kuwait, the democracy of Kuwait. They were caught cheating.
Yes.
And what do you do when you catch a student cheating in his exam? He gets an F.
Yes. This is an indication for you that this candidate is not the right one to be in the National Assembly.
Do not vote for this candidate.
If he's trying to cheat to win his way through to be in the National Assembly, that means when he's there, he's not going to be sincere and he's not going to be helping the citizens. So this is one of the things that the Ministry of Interior this time really implemented greatly.
But they need to go the next step. You give them an F, finish. You are disqualified.
Yes,
you're a cheater.
You can make them example for the others.
Absolutely.
So this won't happen again.
Example for others and for the future elections.
Yes.
There has to be a proper punishment whereby people will never do this again.
Yes. The law is very clear. They can be imprisoned for that, and they will be banned from future elections. And
but they're allowed to continue in this election?
And this election, because some of them,
they have to go through the justice system.
The judicial system,
I agree.
through the court and so on. And we cannot just jump to the results, that they're actually...
they have to be proven guilty.
Yes, exactly. So we have to follow the judicial system, and when the final verdict comes out and he's condemned of doing such thing, then we can, ban him and kind of exercise the concrete laws, where he would be an example for others. So this won't happen again in the future.
I know you have many brothers. Are they all registered to vote?
Yes.
And they're all
my brothers and sisters. They want, even my mother, she's almost 75 years old, and she went
Mashallah.
and she cast her vote. No,
God
my
bless
whole
her.
family is participating in this election. And we wish all the best for our candidates. And
they're all in the same constituency that you are?
yes, in the
Oh,
first
lucky,
constituency.
lucky candidate that you have there.
Yes.
How many brothers do you have?
There are many brothers and sisters, but going back and talking about the elections, you know, this election, a lot of people see it in a positive way. They are hoping to have, you know, the candidates who win in this election, that they really try to make some achievements, to really try to ease some of the sufferings of the people. There are a lot of different issues, different areas that needs to be resolved. And if you have a strong group of National Assembly members, this will help in implementing some of the solutions or legislations that you can put. And if this group of National Assembly cooperate fully with the government, the future government, we're going to see great results, and we're going to see big accomplishments hopefully in the future.
Thank you, Ahmed, for sharing your views. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break, and we will be right back with live coverage of the 2013 National Assembly election. Stay tuned.